The image you see is obviously not me. You'll see why it is relevant soon. If you want to be normal, don't be a narcissistic man/woman baby.
One of these days, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and bring Luke to work. There's no other way.
Luke, meaning Luke Skywalker, a Star Wars doll. She's desperate to show it off anywhere she wants, and she's crying because her mommy doesn't want her bringing it to her job. Yeah, this is supposed to be a grown-ass woman. This Luke Skywalker doll and Star Wars itself are the culprit behind the unbelievably childish, self-absorbed actions and attitude of a woman old enough to know better.
I'd rather tell my mom that there's people that mutilate some things on YouTube all the time, and it's not a big deal.
There's a big difference between reviewers of products on YouTube and some woman child who can't go anywhere without her Star Wars dolly. Nobody benefits by her dragging her toys around with her. At work, it would just be a big awkward distraction, especially considering how childish she behaves.
You mean your old tight ass? It is unfair.
This is your brain on Star Wars.
It's really about fair.
Wow, all this over a Star Wars toy. It doesn't matter how big a river she cries. It's not as if Luke Skywalker is going to come to life and jump to her defense. He's just a toy. He doesn't even know he exists, let alone care about this baby.
I want to do things that normal people do.
For openers, don't cry over a doll. So many other behaviors are incredibly problematic, I don't know where to start. She was acting as if it was a real pressing issue that she couldn't show off her Luke doll. That crying tantrum was sent on Mother's Day weekend to someone whose mom was dying in hospital. The recipient of this crazy Luke fit had plenty of real reason to be going out of her skull with anxiety and was already sick to the back teeth of hearing about the Luke doll. But that didn't matter to the fangirl who just wanted attention and self-gratification. This showing Luke off at work was not a means of self-soothing. It was about attention-seeking. If anyone at her work really wanted to see that exact figure, they could look it up on the internet. There are lots of eBay ads and YouTube videos featuring the Disney-exclusive talking X-Wing pilot Luke Skywalker 14-inch talking action figure. Besides, if she wanted to simply take along a little figure just to make herself feel more emotionally secure, she could have gone for a pocket-sized one. She has many, many toys according to the people she dumped for Star Wars. Her Star Wars addiction kept causing trouble and eventually ended that sham of a friendship between her and 3 others almost a year later. Most people would simply get a little annoyed but move on when removed from a cyber chat. Not this woman, and I use the term loosely. She threw an epic, self-pitying temper tantrum after getting removed from chat groups due to her constant defiance and willfully inconsiderate attitude and behavior.
I'm just so angry. I don't think right when I'm angry.
What's her excuse the rest of the time? And she had the nerve to say this in a stunning display of self-pity.
My adrenaline is pumping really, really high right now, and I'm under a lot of stress.
She was under stress? Oh, really? Not at all. She was just mad she couldn't get her own way anymore with someone who was really under stress from grieving the loss of her mother the year before. Then comes the classic crazy manipulation tactic so many criminals use when getting arrested on body cam channels.
I can't breathe. I can't fucking breathe right now. I'm crying so hard I can't breathe.
Ridiculous. If she can shriek like that, she can breathe. Notice all the melodramatic gasping? That's not difficulty breathing at all. This is classic manipulation. Criminals fall back on that, or the "you're hurting me" trope to make cops feel sorry enough to loosen their restraints so they can get away. This brat wasn't carrying on over being arrested, though. She'd just been removed from some chat groups for doing things she knew full well were not acceptable on those groups. She also got removed because she kept pestering people and forcing her crazy fantasy stuff on them, knowing it was no longer welcome. Then she says this.
Please, I'm begging you for mercy.
She knew this person hated seeing others suffer and cry, so this was a huge guilt-tripping attempt.
Jesus Christ! Lord have mercy, help me!
That was not a prayer. It was blasphemy. She knows this person is a Christian, so thought she'd toss Jesus' name in there to force her own way. The brat also told another person later during a fight she started with them that God didn't exist. So this is all an enormous act. Then she fell back on a favorite strategy of narcissists, making excuses and denying that any trouble they cause is their own fault.
The way I am is not my fault.
Sure, she can condemn anyone else for the very thing she does, but everyone is supposed to overlook anything she does and let her get away with everything because she's special. Her autonomy is her autonomy, and heaven forbid anyone be taken into consideration. Their feelings and life experiences don't matter. Their personal space and rules should never apply to her. Her gratification is all that matters, and no one should ever make her face reality or anything she doesn't like. Not even a little bit.
Who's known me for 37 fucking years?
That's right, she was pushing 40 when she threw this crazy screaming tantrum.
I'm sorry if it made you angry, and I'm sorry if it hurt you, but that's how I'm feeling.
Oh, of course. Who cares how anyone else feels? It's all about her. This is what's known as devaluation. It's what narcissists do when they either get bored with the person they previously love-bombed or are itching for the excitement of a fight and power trip when that person begins to stop cooperating with everything the narcissist says.
I hate the way you're treating me.
Oh, absolutely. Never mind how she treats anyone else.
It's really not fair for you to force me to choose between something I enjoy and my friends.
It's amazing how easy this sort of mental gymnastics comes to control freaks who don't get their own way. Always playing the victim, twisting things in knots to make their target look like the villain. In truth, it's nowhere near what she makes it out to be. And what was this super unhinged freak out over? Hold tight. This is cray-cray at its finest.
I don't want to give up Star Wars, and I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to do that at all.
What a riot. A near middle-ager screaming and crocodile tears all over Star Wars. Stupid. No one forced her to give up anything. They were sick of her forcing it on them.
But you want to do things your way.
Projection. Putting her own bad traits onto her target and boiling everything down to your way versus my way.
Just give me another chance.
More manipulation. This isn't real begging for another chance. It's an attempt to make her target feel bad about setting boundaries and sticking to them.
Just give me another chance.
Weaponizing her target's sensitivity to people crying.
Look, if you give me another chance, I won't talk about Star Wars around the three of you. I'll keep it separate. Give me another chance.
Desiring to regain control and dominance so badly, she's willing to put on a big pleading and crying act for another chance. It is control she wants, not reconciliation. Her word is worthless. She broke promises. Her word, her target's trust, many times before. She has no intention of leaving Star Wars out of anyone's life, whether they want it or not. Another chance means she wins back control and can abuse some more. As her mind races wildly from one tactic to another, she throws in all kinds of excuses for her behavior and finally settles on a strategy she's sure is guaranteed to work.
I'm just gonna wait you out. I'm just gonna wait you out. And when you're ready to talk, come find me. You know where I am.
That was the second time she tried to get her target to chase after her. Another textbook strategy of a narcissist. But it failed her twice, because this target was not trauma-bonded, not at all dependent on the narcissist for her well-being. The narcissist kept bothering the woman, who indicated wanting to cut ties.
Yeah, it's always me. This is how I feel. Me, 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 me. Did you really give that much of a damn about any of us? Really? If you want to enjoy Star Wars in your own time on your own, that's fine. But you don't have the right to force it on the rest of us. I want to enjoy what I enjoy. Okay, fine. Go ahead, enjoy it, but you're on your own. Until you shape up, I'm shipping out. You really blew it this time. I knew you must have hated me because I won't let you Star Wars us. So that is when your hate kicked into gear and you decided to punish us and try to Star Wars all over us anyway. And you decided to try and sneak it in whenever you could. It's not going to work, honey.
Desperately frantic at losing control over this woman, the brat kept sending and deleting messages. Many went unanswered. The woman being bothered had to deal with a rough year of first holidays without her mom. In this case, it was Easter. She had no more tolerance for an extremely childish Star Wars addict who fancied herself Darth Vader and her many toys, the ultimate gift to the universe. April 9th, 2023. 3:30 and 22 seconds a.m. The narcissistic brat.
This message was deleted.
4:51 and 12 seconds a.m. The brat.
This message was deleted.
7:29 and 5 seconds p.m. The brat tried to start a voice call. It was not answered.
Missed group voice call.
Unable to wait her target out, the brat FaceTimed on April 12th. During that conversation, she admitted she was so mad on Easter Sunday that she went around slamming doors. The recipient of that call ended the conversation and hung up in disgust. Did that stop the control freak? Of course not. She went right back to messaging until she was blocked. April 15th, 2023, 2:30 and 5 seconds p.m. The narcissistic brat sent a ridiculous lying emoji of love.
Smiling face with smiling eyes and hugging hands.
April 15th, 2023, 2:30 and 53 seconds p.m. The brat sent this. After insisting again that her addiction to Star Wars was a minor passion, rambling on about leaving chat groups and starting random small talk subject changes, all more tactics narcissists use to attempt regaining control over people who start to withdraw. She tried to appeal to this woman's Christianity to get her to rethink leaving. Ironically, the song was "Seek Ye First the Kingdom of God," something the brat was definitely not doing. A response came, and it was not what the brat wanted to hear. April 15th, 2023. 2:43 and 56 seconds p.m.
Minor passion, my foot. Star Wars is your addiction. Enough said. Bye.
April 15th, 2023, 8:30 and 55 seconds p.m. The brat kept going.
I believe I have a very simple solution. The oldest trick in the book. Compromise. No, Star Wars with the three of us are, but otherwise, and outside of those chats, no rules.
Oldest trick in the book. Because that's what it's all about with narcissists. Tricks for controlling other people. Compromise is one of her favorite strategies she uses to try getting around boundaries other people set. It's control and getting her own way while trying to make it look as if she really isn't doing that. Her compromise trick was justifiably rejected. April 15th, 2023, 8:37 and 16 seconds p.m.
No compromise. I don't believe in letting loose with something so unhealthy. Compromise never worked in the past, and just knowing that you're going to let loose everywhere else doesn't sit well with me. And it's not just me. The others are totally sick of it too, and they don't want to encourage you to Star Wars at all. I'm not ready to talk yet. We need a lot more time.
Even now, nothing was said about giving up Star Wars. That was the brat's own idea. What was really being done here was the setting of a boundary. These people wanted her to stop spamming Star Wars into their lives and creating drama over it. They weren't going to condone her being an inconsiderate jerk about it with other people over it and bragging about it the way she had been doing for years. April 15th, 2023, 8:42 and 37 seconds p.m. The brat did it again.
This message was deleted.
April 15th, 2023, 8:45 and 21 seconds p.m.
This message was deleted.
April 15th, 2023, 9:05 p.m.
This message was deleted.
The reason for all those deleted messages? She knew she was in danger of losing what was at the time her best source of narcissistic supply. She may or may not have lost control of people in the past because of her pride and temper making her careless. But it was way past the point of her ever getting this person back. Her ego took a beating, her tactics failed. Narcissist rage set in. The brat sent a most selfish, arrogant rant. In it, she tried everything to provoke an emotional reaction. If she could get one of backing down and submission, that would be exactly what she wanted. But if she could get any reaction at all, it still translated as attention, meaning she could still see herself as important in whose life she's been trying to control. No emotional trigger is off limits to someone like her, as long as she thinks she can win and put someone else down in defeat. April 15th, 2023, 9:12:46 seconds p.m. The brat.
Unhealthy my ass.
Well, I won't comment on the state of her ass, but she is clearly tweaked that someone called out her crazy Star Wars obsession for what it is.
It's not unhealthy.
When it takes everyone's life and makes them start and end relationships over it, yes, that is unhealthy. But she can go on in her extreme state of denial. She acts as if she can speak anything into the universe and it makes it automatically true for everyone. Reality check. It does not.
It is a small and minor passion.
That isn't just denial anymore. It's denial with a flair. This is chain letter level bad at trying to be convincing. Passions aren't small or minor. Otherwise, they wouldn't be passions. But what starts out as a passion can become an obsession. And when it gets to her level of extreme, it's an addiction. It doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol to be addictive. The people she trashed for the sake of Star Wars and her own ego don't just think it's an addiction. They know it is, because of the way she used and then tossed them out when they stopped bending to her will. Using small and minor in a statement is redundant and shows desperation to control another's feeling about something. She's also gotten way too hot under the collar that someone dared to not love Star Wars and point out how nuts this is.
My mom is backing me up 100%.
And her usual excuses trying to duck responsibility for this heartlessness will not wash. She intentionally, however indirectly, taunted this woman about her mother's passing by rubbing it in that she could still go to her own mother for support in whatever misguided things she gets up to. She did that during her Star Wars screaming fit, too. Everything narcissistic people do is intentional in the worst way, and they always refuse to take responsibility. Their apologies are melodramatic or very short and dismissive, and often come with a truckload of dumb excuses. And there's their favorite, "I was just kidding, can't you take a joke?" Or, "That wasn't my intention." Of course it was. This brat is truly heartless.
Sis is something I enjoy, and I refuse to give it up.
Well, oh my gosh. The absolutely most important thing for everyone on Earth to remember is to never, ever stand in the way of this brat's joys, no matter how anyone else feels. The worst sin in the universe is to make her feel threatened that something she enjoys might get rained on. It doesn't matter how non-existent that threat is. She's as protective and greedy over her toys as a growling dog is when devouring its food. The kind that growls and bares its teeth at you because it thinks you want to steal its food just for walking too close. She actually got upset and fought with this woman who was giving up her own Star Wars things. This brat argued and tried talking her into keeping a bunch of stuff no longer wanted because it was Star Wars. That is no minor, small passion. That's insane. That whole giving up Star Wars bull is just another narcissistic tactic, a psychologically abusive guilt trip meant to get the woman to back down and destroy the "no more Star Wars in my life and chats" boundary. It is a twisted lie the narcissist deluded herself and others into believing so she could wage her hate and smear campaign later.
Nothing can be said.
Ugh! The arrogance, the bossiness. So suddenly she has just forbidden anyone to say anything. A lot could be said, but this demand or reverse psychology move, whatever it was, still did not goad her target into a reaction.
No ultimatums will work.
Well, that actually turned out to be true. After all, she determined they had to allow her to Star Wars them, or get trashed as losers and freaks. The woman was not giving the brat an ultimatum. She was setting reasonable boundaries. Narcissists hate boundaries set by other people because it means those people won't let the narcissist control them. That's what it all boils down to with a brat like this. Control. She'll do anything to keep it from slipping out of her grasp. She needs to be the star of the stage, with a bunch of people acting as her underlings. She is petrified to be alone with herself, and she looks to others for validation, someone to play the villain, a bunch of others to be her brown-nosing yes-men. And she'll cycle through people like game characters and use them however she can to her advantage.
I am standing, firm and not budging.
Translation. Don't bug me. I ace stubborn 2.0.
I am sure you didn't expect me to stand up to you. Well, I am. Deal with it.
Typical narcissist projection by reversing things. It was her 3 ex-friends who stood up to her and set boundaries. She was not standing up to them. She was causing teenage drama, which she had her mom accuse the other women of. Starting fights, whining she wanted out of them when they got upset with her, throwing fits and being a middle-aged brat. She couldn't bait her target into reacting to this deliberate act of petty defiance either.
If you and Cindy want to ditch me, that's fine.
Translation. Because as long as I got my Star Wars and enough other people kissing my ass, that's all that matters. Yeah, so much for that silly smiling face and hugging hands emoji. What a manipulative faker. She seriously misjudged her then best source of supply, who was not even fooled by the love bombing.
Just don't take Alyssa with you.
This is full-on narcissistic panic. It's what happens when narcissists finally realize the jig is up and they can't control someone. If it's a group situation, the narcissist becomes pathetically desperate to hold on to control of others in the group who weren't the first to set boundaries and say no. The brat used the heck out of Alyssa long before they met the other two. The brat took full advantage of Alyssa's kind nature and desire for friendship and made sport of it. She even tried to get one of the others to cyberbully Alyssa for her. That failed, and Alyssa gained a new true friend. And then another when they met Cindy. The brat only wanted Alyssa back when she felt the other two starting to pull away from her over her Star Wars insanity and clinginess. She didn't want them taking Alyssa away only because that would mean she had lost control of all 3 people instead of just 1 or 2/3. The woman's final response. April 15th, 2023, 9:14 and 14 seconds p.m.
I've said all there is to say.
Hurrah! She chose to walk away and preserve her peace and not engage with the narcissist and indulge her lust for attention and domination anymore. The brat continued bullying and bashing all 3 after this. Through other people, she could sob story. She does likewise to anyone else who tells her to knock it off, grow up, and get a life. She is in love with her anger, her manufactured victimhood, and her many grudges she nurses against a lengthening list of people she hates. That is why she could go on forever in paranoid defense of Star Wars and her feelings toward it, her unhinged childishness about her plushies, and her constant implications of a belief that anyone might just swoop in and take away her precious toys. It never occurs to her that no one cares about her toy collections. No one wants them. For her, it is all about domination of others and unbridled self-gratification. Oh yeah, and her addiction to, worship of, and fighting in honor of Star Wars.